Hi, I'm Brandy. This is Hound Dog Hollow, and today I'm going to be talking about the October Vlog Challenge. Today is day 13. The word is Superstition. This is a VR to Amethyst Ascension, and the challenge is by Palm Tree Bewitchery. I am guilty of doing them in a batch this time, so please forgive me. But it helps me to be consistent because sometimes work and school completely overwhelm me. Let's be real. Especially since it's midterms time and I'm inundated. But anyway, I'm particularly excited to talk about superstition because I think it's a very good word and it's a very good thing for practice. I myself have tons of superstition, and a lot of them peek through on my channel and my unboxing, and I try to talk to you guys about them. And some of them are so deeply ingrained that I don't even notice them anymore to consciously tell you that that's a superstition that I have and that's what I'm doing. But something I get on my channel quite often, because you know, a large portion, the bulk of my channel is unboxings, which I love and I'm not sorry for. I love it. I don't care what you feel about it. I hope you like it, and that's why you're here. But if you don't, that's okay too. But there's occasionally in the comments like, oh, I would love to have something like this, but my parents would never let me. Or, oh, you know, they're in the closet. They're for whatever reason, they cannot express themselves, express their magic and their witchcraft in the way that they would like to because they are fearful of reprisal or it's just not acceptable in their house. And I want you to know that that's how I grew up. I knew, I firmly believe that I've been a witch for as long as my soul is alive. Forever. But I knew when I was about probably, I mean, I started really knowing after my first menses on my 12th birthday. At your grandparents' house, which is also like garbage. But anyway, I started, my prophetic dreams intensified. My situation where, I don't know if you guys have ever had it, but where the devil's sitting on your chest is what we call it. And it's basically where sleep paralysis, where you wake up and you cannot move. I used to start having more of that, more prophetic dreams, more like very lucid prophetic dreams. I had more synchronicities that I was noticing, and I got really, really into the occult. I was not raised that way. First of all, my grandparents were Catholic, my mother was a Christian, and this was just absolutely unacceptable. And I mean, I had a huge attraction. I was enamored. There was a witch who taught at my school. Her name was Mrs. Landry, and she was from New Orleans, and she would read tarot cards for us, and she would tell us stories, and I was completely enamored with her, and it resonated with me, like, on a deep level, that was like, this was like coming home. This was good information to me. And I loved my horoscope. I mean, those things were really interesting to me. And then one day an aunt caught me reading my horoscope and told me that if I kept reading that, I was gonna go to hell. And it was at that point that I knew that I was not part of the organized religion of Christianity, because even as a young teenager, I thought to myself, any god who would doom a harmless teenage girl to the pit of fire, to hell, for reading a goddamn newspaper, was not one that I would follow and worship. And I've come to terms, because that's not God. That's her hang-ups about religion. That is not mine. But I had to like separate myself from that. I knew I wasn't part of that. I couldn't be. I did not believe that that was acceptable. So, long story short, the way that I circumvented all of this was very sneakily. And so I found ways to learn my craft and to express myself hiding in plain sight. Okay, so just another diversion. This summer, my mother and my sister stayed with me, and we had a family houseboating trip in Lake Shasta. It was wonderful. But I don't know why, but my father-in-law asked my mother what it was like to have her daughter be a witch. And like, it blindsided my mom. She did not say anything. And then on the drive home, when it was just me and my mom and my sister, she was like, Brandy, are you a witch? And I was like, yes. And she was like, since when? I was like, forever. And she was like, but witches are evil. And I was like, Mama, am I evil? And she was like, no. And I'm like, Mom, I smudged your house. I blessed your house. She's like, that's just Native American stuff. I was like, Mom, I've always had vivid prophetic dreams. She goes, yeah, but that's prophecy. It's in the Bible. I'm literally having this conversation with my mom. And I was like, okay, what about like astrology? What about all this other stuff? And she's like, Mom, you know me. I'm not hurting anybody. That's just stories. That's not real life. It's just, that's how I am. That's how I practice. That's how I believe in. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in Jesus. It means that I believe that, you know, I can manipulate energy, and there are certain things that you can do to protect yourself and to make things happen. And I choose to consciously do those things. But it's going back to my point that the way that I survived as an in-the-closet witch in my household, and clearly my mother doesn't know, and I'm 35, so 21 years, was a lot of it was superstitions. I took a deep, profound interest in superstitions and learning about them and learning what they meant, and learning that a lot of them are rooted in pagan beliefs and in magical happenstance. I got profoundly interested in mythology, which I learned so much about other deities and pantheons, and that was totally okay with my mom because I was just learning history. I loved rocks, which she just thought I liked rocks a lot. But I had like a little crystal collection. I had candles in the shape of all other things, and my mom, I guess, thought I was just collecting candles because I liked the shapes. I kept lots of journals where I wrote. I was heavily into dreams, and my mom even bought me dream interpretation books, and I would write them, and I would like try to decipher them in spiritual and superstitious and even psychological ways. I mean, there are a lot of ways that you can hide without hiding. Does that make sense? I guess what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of ways that you can do the work of witchcraft, which is the learning, which is the studying, which is the philosophy, and finding out what parts resonate with you and what parts don't. And you can have the small things that are important to direct your energy. Like I had crystal bracelets. I had a secret hoodoo spell book that my uncle found when he was dumpster diving, and I learned a lot of really powerful, simple spells like a honey jar and other things too, mojo bags and stuff that I could have easily hidden, that were innocuous in plain sight. My mom did one time find a spell in the freezer. I had put some people's names on paper and had frozen them in a block and kept it in the freezer, and my mom found it and made me dispose of it. She's like, what is this? It's like, oh, it's just a thing I read. I would go to Barnes and Nobles. My family would go to Barnes and Nobles because frankly we didn't have very much money to read the books, but we would go to the library to buy the books. But we would go to the library and we would go to Barnes and Nobles, and I would check out these books. I learned about angels, I learned about crystals, I learned about herbs, I learned about mythologies of all kinds, especially Egyptian, but also Greek and Roman and different cultures. I learned so much, and I developed a strong foundation before I ever had any stuff. So when you ask me, like, I wish I could have these things, but I'm in the closet, I hear you. I hear you so deeply. I know what that's like. And there will come a time when you can live your truth and you won't have to answer to any fucking body. And I pray and hope and wish that for each of you. But I want you to know I've been there. And I think in the end it's a very good thing, because you learn that the real truth is that everything is you, and everything is your thought. Every thought that you have, every word that you say, every act that you do is powerful magic, because you are literally creating your reality and manipulating your intentions. I've talked about this briefly in the belief one. What you believe happens. That's magic. Believing in yourself, believing that good things will happen, believing that bad things will happen. All of that is literally the tangible magic language of our universe, and you have access to it instantly. I do not believe all this bullshit that you have to do certain things to be a witch. Literally, every fiber of your being is waiting for you to acknowledge the unseen forces. And every human on earth, every one of us, could be a witch the second that we decide to be so. And we start setting intentions, and we start manipulating energy just by changing our thoughts, changing the way that we talk, using things intentionally, living our life presently and intentionally. Every single moment, we can change everything. You don't need anything. Nobody can set any rules. It's all you. All of that crap, all of those rules, all of that dogma, that's superstition for all intents and purposes. It means nothing as long as you believe. Thank you guys. Love you so much. Enjoying this challenge. Can't wait to see your guys' responses. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. I think this is the last one I'm going to do today because I'm tired and I still got to turn in that paper. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.